Hi, this is Luke from Instant Chaos, and today we're going to take a look at unboxing Shiver Me Timbers. I've been away from creating Kickstarter content for a while because I've got a little bit of Kickstarter fatigue, and then this came in and I'm super excited. And the reason why I'm super excited about Shiver Me Timbers is because this was the very first Kickstarter board game I backed. This was what actually got me into backing board games on Kickstarter. Prior to that, I was pretty new to Kickstarters, and then when I saw this and I saw the concept of this was absolutely amazing to me. This is a very massive box, as you can see. I'll bring out a game which I think is very similar. So the game that I played recently was Star Wars Outer Rim. So if you compare to the size of that, you can see how significantly bigger the Shiver Me Timbers box is. So if I turn that on the side, and if you don't know the Outer Rim size of the box, I have another box to compare to, and this is one of the bigger boxes, board game boxes in my collection, and that is Rising Sun. As you can see, the height is about the same. It's longer on the width side, and if I was to switch it over to its side, you can tell that this is definitely thicker in height. Yeah. Alright, so without further ado, this is most definitely one of my bigger board game boxes, and I think I only have one that's going to be potentially bigger than this, and that is the Return of Dark Tower. So that was the second board game I backed on Kickstarter, so hopefully that will come soon, but I think that one's going to be a little bit a while yet. So this is the back, as you can see, quite neat. It is a 2 to 4 player open world game. I kind of consider this game very similar to Outer Ring, like I said earlier, and it's mainly a pick up and deliver game with an open world element to it. So what that really means is, in terms of pick up and deliver, is you will start somewhere. Pick up is essentially a quest or an object, and then go deliver it somewhere else. So in this case, this game is about buying cargo and reselling said cargo. So some of the cargoes you can buy are rum. This is a pirate-oriented game. It is rum. I believe there's sugar, and I can't remember what the third one is. Well, I guess we'll get to that when we open this up. So the thing that got me really interested in this game was this particular board game was created by Mikhail Vykovsky. Hopefully I pronounced that right. This is a passion project for him. He put a lot of effort and love into this game. It was released, I believe, in 2019. And then released on Kickstarter as a campaign in 2019, and then he had to cancel it because it wasn't getting the traction that I believe this game deserved. So he has since re-released it, and it still became the first board game I backed, and this game has now arrived, and it is absolutely amazing. I am so excited about this game, considering this is the very first game I had. I took a quick look at the rulebook. The rulebook, I've got nothing to complain about. The pages itself are quite of a decent quality. What I did like about this, it gave you a quick examples of what's in red and what's in blue. Red is just examples, and these blue boxes tends to be more catered towards the rules. So over here, it gives you a quick golden rule about any conflict of information. So for example, if the text of the card contradicts the rules of the rulebook, then obviously the card takes precedence, and which is good. I guess that's usually the case in most games, but people get confused, and that is due to them not understanding that the rulebook or the game rules is just generic rules of the game, but certain powers or cards and abilities will break those rules, which makes the game more interesting. After the rulebook, there's a quick start guide. It gives you a little bit of a beginner strategy, not too bad. It's mainly just for the setup of the board and some quick rules. It gives you also a strategy guide, but the strategy guide I tend to not read that much because I like to work out a good strategy or explore the strategies myself. So that's a quick start guide. Next we have a guide to the pirates, crews and rituals, plus a pirate's guide to life goals. Now this one I've got mixed feeling about. I'm not sure if this was really done well enough. Essentially what it is the whole point of this game is you have to achieve some life goals, and I guess what you can do is you can play a life goal and then one person will read it out for everyone. Otherwise everyone can take a look at this one single I guess page of the life goals, and as well as potentially any crew cards. So the problem I had with this, and it got summarized quite nicely by one of my favorite content creators, which is Quackalopes, and it's talking about every player should have a player guide, and the fact that only one for the life goal exists makes it a little bit harder for the others, but I guess it's the overall goal, so maybe you don't need one per player. Next after that is the board. The board, let's start with this side. So as we were talking about the life goals before, so these life goals goes in here, and usually there is one more life goal than the number of players. So if there's 2 players, you can see there's 3 life goals. If there's a 3rd player, that will be where that a 4th life goal would sit, and so forth. The first person to achieve any one of the life goals will get the 10 points, and any player after that will get 5 points for achieving the same life goal. And the game will end when you've completed one less. Well, the game will end when a player achieves the life goal equal to the number of players. So sorry, that was very convoluted, but what that means is if there's 2 players, if there's 2 life goals achieved, then that's when the game will end. Like that's what trigger ends game. If there was, let's say, 3 players, then 3 life goals will have to be achieved before the end game triggers. So there was a little bit of complaints about that in terms of that could take too long, but I guess that's up to the individual players in the group to decide how long they want the game. If they are highly competitive, they'll probably go and achieve the life goal as quickly as possible, just so they can get the most points in the game so that they can win. But for the people that loves the experience of enjoying the open world and want to spend a little bit more time, maybe they just want to explore the open world, and then the game can drag on a bit longer than expected. But that's up to the player group. I don't think that's really an issue on its own. I think that is essentially what someone was deciding, that was it, they didn't have enough critiques of the game and they just want to critique about something. Next up we have is the combat. We'll talk about combat when we reach to the combat cards. But yeah, this side looks better than that side, so let me put this over here. Right, now the exciting part. I took the plastic lid off already, but this is for the combat. I'm not sure if you can see that properly. So if you don't know, the female side represents the attacking side, the male side represents the defending side. But it's just a figure, you play however way you wish. The only reason why we'll go with the females attacking cards, because when you look at the cards themselves, it will show that the female side tend to be the attacking, and you can, even by this miniature, you can tell that the female is leaning towards the right a little bit more, as if she's launching an attack, or lunging for an attack, whereas the male pirate figure is more likely to be defending or parrying the attack. Right, this will go over here when any combat starts. Right, and now we get to the crux of this particular Kickstarter project, the pirate ships. So this pirate ship is essentially the reason why I backed this Kickstarter project. So And it is also the reason why I back Kickstarter board games in general. So Mikkel, you have a lot to answer for with how much money I've spent on Kickstarter board games. Right, so let's take a bit of a close-up on the ship. So this is a very well crafted and produced pirate ship. I believe he had a lot of trouble getting manufacturers to create this this miniature. He had a lot of people who saying this cannot be done, and he persevered. So it shows his love and dedication of making this board game, and I highly respect his dedication and his hard work to make this work, because it looks absolutely fantastic. The side bit here are the cannons. The cannons represent the ship, the strength of the ship. You have these cargo slots. The cargo slots tends to start with a similar brown, as you can see, to the ship. Then it will start with the yellow. Yellow is rum. Don't ask me why rum is yellow, but in this particular case, yellow is rum. You've got a light brown. Light brown represents cocoa, and white is sugar. Now, one of the things you notice is people were concerned about the fiddliness of it. So you can see I can move it at a decent consistency. Nothing's really catching. But one of the concern was if I bumped it. See, nothing moved. So let me shake this a bit. I'll put it down so you don't get dizzy. It hasn't really moved. I think this one moved a little bit, but other than that, maybe because I put it forward, but I just tighten it by pushing it in. So let's put it back to the white. Let's try this again. So you can tell it hasn't really moved, but I guess if it is a little bit loose, so let's loosen this a bit. Let's see if this will move a bit more. So you can see I've tried to put a little bit of gaps between it. And let's say we bumped it. It has moved a little bit, but nothing overly too bad, because it's still majority of the color is where it is. But that's only if it's loose, and I intentionally made it loose just to see what happens. But if it was tight, you will feel the resistance. But I think this has turned out really well. And just due to my OCD, let me quickly make these all brown to represent an empty cargo hold. All right, and then you have the sails. So the sails are represented by each pirate flag. Ooh, can you see that? This pirate symbol. So you can see that the sail has 4 pirate symbols. That will give it a speed of 4. Then you have this one here has 2. So now my pirate ship can sail at 6 speed. And then the last one, which only has 1, will sail at 7. So this is the max capacity ship, your pirate ship. It has 7 speed, 7 cannons, which is these 3 here, which represents 6, plus 1 here, which will give you your 7th. You've got 7 cargo. Initially, it will start with 3 of each. So if I was to take this out, let's see, I think it's at the back. I'll take this out. Then what you'll do is you leave 3 behind. Whoop, take out the others. Put this back. Take out the main mast. And that is your starting ship. Oh, nope, I lied. Got to take out the cannons. Actually, 1, 2. Right, so just for the sake of rushing it, this is your cannons, but you can put these back and you can put this on the empty side. So that means this, so you can put it on that way, but I'm not going to waste your time as you watch me do that. But this is your starting ship, and it's modular, which is amazing. Now, I love this this concept because most miniatures aren't modular, and this one is. So, I just can't tell how impressed I am with Mikkel's work on this. And I can't even imagine the number of prototypes he had to go through just to try and make this work. Right, and miniatures by themselves are fine. I have no issues with miniatures, but it doesn't seem as engaging in terms of that feeling of upgrading your pirate ship if you're not changing your miniature. So I think you see a lot of miniatures where they are at the, I guess, max capacity of their strength, so they look highly impressive, but it doesn't really show them at their rookie stages. But this game does try to encompass that quite a bit. Right, so let's move on. This over here is the crux of the game. In here, I don't think I mentioned this before, but I got the captain's pledge. So I got the deluxe pledge because I was so impressed with Mikhail's dedication to his work ethics and his love of his project that I know if he was to do a deluxe version, that it will be more than worth the value that I pay for it. Over here is individual treasure maps. Let me slice this open. So every player will have an individual treasure map. They're all the same, I believe. Obviously, if they were a little bit different, it would be slightly better. But hey, at the cost of this game as it is, I can understand that he did not do that. You can see that the board, not sure if you can see that board very well, but the board itself, it is very thick. I think he said it was 2 mils. The boards. This is each player's player board. I think this, personally, I think this player board is a little bit on the bigger side if I have any criticism for it, largely because the player board is largely unused in the sense that you don't need as much space as this. Like even the outer rim has a slightly smaller board space. I believe it's about here, and it probably cuts off around here and here. But then it has like the shipboard, which probably extend the playing area to about here. The reason I say that is because you could have combined the pirate map to the ship, and then therefore it's not it doesn't seem as wasteful in terms of extra boards. But this is just random criticism because, like I said, I hardly have any criticism of this game yet. It's considering I haven't actually played it. But from a component wise, what this means is when I have to hand someone their set of I guess items that they're playing with, I'm gonna have to give them 2 boards, their pirate ship, right? Plus whatever coins that they start off with, whatever starting elements, and they have to hand that over. And that's just a little bit of the fiddly setup, but I think I have a way of getting around that a bit, but I obviously can't get away with the board. So let's put this boards over here. Right, so Captain's Pledge. It's your bag, not sure what that's for yet. The Captain's Pledge, I believe, is only really this far down. The rest everyone else will get. So let's start with what everyone else would get. So this here is the ship goal. Try not to damage my cards. Alright, this here's the life goals. You can see that they're blank on one side. Blank on one side. You obviously shuffle it, select one more than the number of players, and then you face them forward, and you can see that there's no ticks on them. So that's what make that guide on the life goals quite important, and someone can read that out when they select all the life goals and pass it around. If you take a look at each of the pictures or the art piece in terms of the title of the life goal, apparently there's a few Easter eggs in here. I'll probably take a closer look at it myself. I won't really go through this, I'm sure everyone will explore their own game. Right. Oh, right. I forgot he had these, but this is essentially everyone's player guide. So, I take my words back. He did consider a player guide, quick player guide on what your action is on your turn and what you can do. So he has followed Quackalopes' what's it idea, where a lot of the game manufacturers or producers aren't actually creating these, and the fact that Mikhail has goes to show he's really thought about his board game. Right, so these are the combat cards. Can't remember what size they are, but essentially that's more than just a combat card. Just put this rubbish here. So it looks like I've got a few. Oh, interesting that they split it this way. So what it is anything with the red blue characters, as I mentioned before, the red is the attacker, the blue is the defender. You can tell that the artwork will tell you whether it's like a high attack or low attack, and whether you're defending high or low. Right, and so what you do is let's say the attacker plays a high attack card, then the defending player will have to choose a number of cards in their hand and goes and to defend with. If they happen to choose a high guard, then they block everything. Right? If hypothetically, if they did a, let's see if I can find another one. This high. Right. All right, let's go with this one. So let's say they did a low attack, but they block with a high guard. So what that means is the low attack went through because they blocked high and they got stabbed in the leg. Then the damage will be based on these dots here. So if I bring my board back, right, so if there's one, then it will, the attacker side is usually on the left, on my left, so, and the defender's on the right. So, or however way you choose to face your miniature. But you can see that it says red and blue. But it's your own game, play how you want. So if that's one and the attack was successful, it will move by one. If you defended, it moves nowhere. So you either defend or you didn't defend, and that will consider how many places these move. You win the combat if you happen to push the other side over, and I can't recall what happens if it was in the midway. I think they still take some damage, but it's not as clear as if they went over. Once they went overboard, you clearly win, and the combat game stops there, or the combat mini game. So there is the combat card. So this here, I've sorted this a little bit just to save some time on the camera. So this here is your, and also a chance to read up on the rules. So this is your wishes, list of available rewards for completing the finding of your soulmate. So if you found your soulmate, which is actually quite lengthy, they give you quite a decent reward. So what would happen then is you draw 3 wishes off the top of the deck. You give it to an opponent, they will choose and discard 1, and then you have a choice of 2 and pick for yourself which one you want as your reward. So that's wishes. Over here is your win. So this game is very light in terms of their win, in terms of it doesn't deal with win direction. It either tells you have a favorable win or a non-favorable win. So what this means is you don't get any bonus to your speed. This is you lose a speed, gain a speed, and so forth. So you gain 3 speed, gain 2 speed. So depending on how you have leveled your ship. So if you level your ship just to the basic default sails, which is 3, you can move 3 spaces, but this will give you an extra 2 spaces to move. So what would happen is on the start of the turn, I believe you take 1, you flip it over, you have now all players will have a speed of 2. Not only that, you get this bonus. And in this one, it goes, you can acquire crew cards on any islands this round. So there's a bunch of random bonuses. I won't go through them all, but they, for the most part, they give you some benefits. I'm not sure if they give you any negative, but yeah, that is the wins. Oh, so it's essentially the power of wind, but no direction. Here, we've got these specific combat against monster cards. Not sure if I'll get into this because I'm not sure if I truly understand this one yet. I'll probably have to have a playthrough of the game and work out how this is supposed to work. But this is for combating the monster, and combat with monsters is very different to combating pirates or other ships. Over here is essentially your, I believe they refer to these as your rise to nobility, or essentially yeah, I think it's just the rise of nobility card. So there's a goal in here to try and raise your prestige with the crown, and they will give you a bonus to being one of the nobilities for the crown. Right, moving on. So these looks like, let's see. I always find these very interesting to pull out because they never seem to catch on right. Yeah, I can do this. Yep. Right. So let's see what these are. Oh, I'll talk about this one afterwards. So this is your crew cards, I believe. Yeah. Well, yeah, most of them should be your crew. Let's see, where does it stop? Right, so your crew, and the cost of the crew is usually in the top right corner. So this is free, but if you move along, that costs you 200 coins, 400, and 600, so forth. I'll let you read the cards yourself as you explore it. Over here is your ritual cards. Do these have a cost? Yeah, so the rituals are supposed to be reasonably powerful, and that's why there's usually a cost to them. So you can see which one this one. This looks like discarding a cargo. I'm not sure if you can see that symbol properly, but you can see that there's like a little rum barrel. I'm guessing that's sugar, and the bottom of it is cocoa. So it says you have to discard 2 cargo of any type to read the bones, and so forth. So this is your rituals. Now, the one I think I missed from the smaller cards is he did a very interesting thing here, which is he made it so if you put it this way, it fits. Let me erase the board. It fits quite nicely, right? But you can also see that there's not a lot of room. So sleeves don't work well on this direction. So if you want sleeves, what he did was he designed it that way, and you see there's a lot more room. So when you do have sleeves, they can sit there, which I thought was quite neat. Obviously he made it, let me put it back this way if I can. The weird thing is this seems a bit short, so, and obviously it wastes a lot of space underneath. I'm not sure what I truly think about that yet. I guess this is when I'll have to play and like take it out and put it back together to see what I truly think, because it seems like it's not leveled, which means this card can move while I'm moving my boxes around, or if I stood it on the side. So hard to say what I really think on that yet until I have a bit more experience playing the game, and then the putting away and setting up of the game. And you can see that sits at the bottom. Obviously you want it lower because as you put more sleeves, the sleeve will raise the level of the cards, making it a little bit higher. Yeah, it's quite neat. It means that he gave thoughts to sleeves. I'm not sure if I agree with the direction that was taken for the sleeves, but at least there's some thoughts, right? As opposed to those producers and companies who did not even consider sleeves. And I'm looking at you, Dominion. I don't know why Dominion as a deck building game does not cater for sleeves, considering how much you're shuffling. And I get that not everyone wants sleeves, no issues with that, but for the ones that do want sleeves, you think that some companies will put some thoughts on it, especially if you're in Kickstarter, because Kickstarter backers seems to be a bit more precious about their game components, just like myself. And so we want to be able to protect our game for longer, and we don't treat our games as disposable board games, which some people will just say, well, if you wore down your cards, just buy another one. That's not in my mentality. I buy stuff and they better last a lifetime. And to do that, then I will protect it, and sleeving is a very core part of what I do. Right over here is the treasures. This is the number or the different types of treasures you can go hunt for, and the way you deal with treasures. Sorry if I'm doing this too fast. Maybe I should slow it down. Pirate code, monkey's fan. So the way the treasure works is when you start to get to a treasure point, you have to go to a specific location. So you can see these islands, they'll tell you where you need to go. And so you go to that particular island, and then you say, I want to start a treasure hunt. You take your board, you put the treasure on the said board, and I believe this uses Roman numerals, and what that means is you can see this XXV. XXV is essentially X represent 10, V represent 5. So 2 X's means 10 plus 10, which is 20, plus 5, 25. Over here, you see a number of 22. That means you have to go to the 22nd place. You can shoot over as you try and move around the board, but you have to at least get to this spot here. And that is how you hunt treasure. Depending on what spots you roll, you can get bonus. I think the red are penalties, and the white and green you can get bonus cargo or upgrades. I think it's mainly cargo. I'm not sure about upgrades, but I'll have to take a closer look at the rules when I play this game. So that is treasure hunting. The last bit here is doing jobs. So this is all mission cards. They're all about doing jobs. All right. Some of them are public missions, and some of them are hidden missions. And so obviously public missions is the moment you get the mission, you have to show it to everyone so everyone knows what you're trying to achieve. The hidden one is the one with I believe is a dash, and it even says secret mission. So it's quite obvious there's a secret mission. You go do it, and that is your reward. All right. So over here is the rest of the normal game. Oh, interesting. Alright, so this is a Captain's Pledge. I did not get any of the non-deluxe components, which is good because I feel like I'm always wasting the non-deluxe components. What I mean by that is, because this is a Captain's Pledge, I got these points. Oh, actually, never mind. I think they're in the punch board. Alright, this is your various player color tokens. Obviously, they will be used. For example, on this board, you put one of these tokens here. If you achieve a goal, you put your token over there, and there should be enough tokens for all the goals that you're trying to achieve. They're just nice little wooden pieces. Let me take a quick look at one. Nice little wooden blocks, nothing special about those. There's a lot of deluxe components already, so I'm not too worried about that. Alright, here is damages to ships. That's what these little amber gems are. Then you've got these standees. Now, I think in the picture they had cardboard standees, but I'm guessing the cardboard didn't work that well, and so he had to replace them with these plastic ones. We then have dice. Originally he did have a smaller set of dice to play with. I think he wanted, originally he advertised that he was going to get 14 mils. He since upgraded these are now 16 mils. Nice chunky decent dice. I got no complaints about them. Inking is quite clear. I don't see any markings. I'm not really looking overly closely, but I don't see as much markings on it. So as in, I don't see any flaws. Looks pretty good. Nice and nice. You get the bags. So these are the bags that you get when you don't have a captain's pledge. So in the captain's pledge, they give you a chest. But if you don't, you get one of these. I like this because I'll tell you about why I'll use these afterwards. Right, next we have the captain's pledge deluxe component now. We're going to talk about first of all, the chest. The chest is stupidly expensive to make. It is, if you can see, take a look at it. It's pretty well made. Nice little heft to it. Purple, got the royal purple. Not sure why purple, other than, but oh, it's got that nice new cardboard smell to them. Yeah. So this one here is there are some treasures that you can have. Is this a treasure? Nope. Let's see. Oh, this is finding relatives. So you can find your relative, but this is actually technically a treasure. Nope, more relatives. So if you find a treasure, if you leave your treasure on the ship, you can get bonuses. But what that also means is people can steal your treasure. They can attack you and choose to steal your treasure of yours. To prevent that, you can put it away in your chest, and it is now hidden away for the rest of the game. So even you don't get the benefits of it, and that is just stored away. You can't actually take it back out. So once you put it away, it's locked away forever, and that includes money. These are quite neat. What I'll use these for when I'm storing the game is I will probably put my ships in here with its various little components. Right. And then I will store it this way, and then that way I know my ships are nicely protected in here. The cells are not going to be damaged, they're not going to be broken. I won't have issues with the tip of this cannon. The tip of this cannon falling off. You see that? Yeah, because I can imagine this can break during storage. So nice little treasure chest for your ship. Love it. Love it. Right, then we got coins. Oh, nice hefty coins. Interesting, they come in their own bag. I think during gameplay I probably will keep it on its own, so I won't take everything out. These are some nice hefty coins. You can see how thick they are. Decent weight. Don't have any real complaints about them. The interesting about these coins compared to other coins is some of the other coins they will make it either smaller, give it a different number on the coin itself to represent the value, or you would use color, and essentially they're all the same size or different size with different colors. So 1, 2, 3. This one, however, is either mix because I have a little bit of a OCD-ness, so I like to hold all my coins in one hand and I like to line them all up. But he's done something different with these, and I do appreciate anything that's kind of unique. So this is essentially a whole coin, well, one gold piece. Then he's got a half gold piece, and then you've got quarters. Well, no, not quarters, 1/8, because back in the day, was it if they had to pay for something that was not of the value of one coin, what they did was they started shaving or cutting the coins. And one of the things that I do here, oh no, there's actually 10 pieces. I lie, I do apologize for that. So one whole coin represent 10, half a coin represent 5, and each single one means 1. And if you put them together, you make a whole coin. That's pretty neat. I really like the concept of this. But like I said, I'm not sure how well I like it, but in terms of theme, this game definitely uses with theme. But in terms of the ability to handle my coins, I probably prefer whole coins, just so I can stack them all nicely together. Yeah, so like I said, I like whole coins. I think that's my personal preference. I don't have issues with this half coins or these partial coins. Mini, and this is the board. Let me flip these over. I'm not going to punch these out, but I'll just quickly show you what these are. This is your shipping route. Is it? I think there was complaints that in the original prototype these were too small. I think this represents 2, and the issue was if you put a ship on one of them previously, then that took up the entire space, which meant you could, if another ship came to join you, they pretty much had nowhere to go because your ship took up the entire space. So he's changed this, so now you can see that I think there's 2 marks here, and that represent 2 points. But to get past here, you need to have at least a movement speed of 2. It's not a bad concept, and it also keeps the board smaller, so that's pretty neat. Over here is your essentially merchant ships. Each of your merchant ships has a certain set of rewards. You see a number on them, so these says 1. Over here has 2. Obviously these are harder to fight, and then when you encounter them, you flip them over to the other side. Oh, maybe I will open this. You flip them over to the other side, and then that will tell you what you're fighting against or how strong they are. Right, so this here is your main central starting point. This is the ancient shipyard. These are your islands. They have their own name, they'll have their own benefits. If you find some family members, they will give you some bonuses. We were talking about the coins before, so the coins are here as well. What was it? What are these? This is, I'm not 100% sure what this is. I'll probably have to read this one up actually. There's a lot to this game. Can't quite remember everything. All right, over here I think there is some stop and harbor to open. I think that shows where you can go, whether you can go to that harbor or not. Right, now let's go back to the merchant ships I was talking about. So these are your merchant ships. when you encounter one of them, you flip it over to the other side. It will tell you what their movement speeds are, what their essentially strength is, and that's how you have to fight them. And if you were to win, that is your reward. So over here, it will tell you based on those islands what they essentially will sell to you and what they want to buy from you. Islands also where you can upgrade your ships if they have the relevant symbols. And so you can see, what is this? This is selling cocoa for 100 gold, and you have to pretty much, if you went to St. David, you can sell them for 200. Or even better, you go to St. David, you buy rum for 100 and go sell it at Sotom at 400. This last bit here is selling treasure. And I think that is pretty much it. There's a little bit on, that bit here is on the monster. It's a monster reward if you manage to fight and win against the monster. Right. And I guess last of all, I think I'll have to congratulate Mikkel again. He's done a fantastic job on this Kickstarter. Like I said, the first one failed. He ran it again. It was definitely successful. People fell in love with his concept and his ideas, and I think that's pretty much what Kickstarter is all about. And the fact that he managed to get a game of this quality is absolutely amazing. Right, I just realized I got these games. These bags. So what I was talking about before is normally what I would do is, let's say for the red player, I will put everything in here that the red player will require. Any starting coins will go in here. The ships will stay in the chest. I could put the ships in here. I could put all the coins in here, but I would be more afraid that the coins will damage the other components that I want to protect. So I'll probably do a mixture of two things. I'll be going, all right, red player, this is your ship and your treasure chest, and I'll hand that to them. And this is all the other components you need, and I'll hand that to them. And that for me is a quick setup, and as opposed to just, all right, how much coins does everyone need? Go count it out, because sometimes you haven't played a game for a long time, you don't know what they start off with. I do that with Outer Rims. I have Dinosaur Island, so I have little containers on each of them to go what the starting amount is. And then I look at the rulebook to find what the, I guess, the bonuses for being a second or a later player. So I think some of them will get an extra 100 gold or extra gold for every player at the end. But yep, this is my box opening for, or unboxing of Shiver Me Timbers. I hope you enjoyed it. You got something from it. I congratulate you again, Mikkel, for a fantastic work on your Kickstarter and passion project. Thank you very much. Cheers.